We are very excited for today's guest because this individual comes up quite often on our podcast. Basically, I told her recently that I'm obsessed with her. She is a part of this journey. She is one of the breadcrumbs of how we got here into doing this podcast. So she is...
She's a book.
She is behind the infamous It Ends With Us giant book. So welcome, Aurora.
Woohoo! So happy to be here.
Welcome to the Breadcrumb Effect podcast,
Where we interview interesting people with a story to tell.
and share what breadcrumbs they've picked up along the way. I'm Danny.
And I'm Brittany.
Welcome to the Breadcrumb Effect.
Welcome to the Breadcrumb Effect. Aurora is a New York City native who has proudly called Texas home since 2011, long before it was trendy. She's been married for 18 years, is a devoted mom to a middle school son and 2 beloved fur babies, and lives life with equal parts grit and heart. For anyone who's just listening and not watching, she had a big book in front of her and she popped out of it. So
There we go. Plug YouTube channel. Go watch that.
that is the origin story of the Breadcrumb Effect.
Yes.
Is the big book reels.
For those that haven't listened to our preheating episode where we go into this big book, why we have it, and all of the fun activities that we did, maybe we go into the story a little bit. But with Aurora here, welcome, we can actually go into the origin story. Because you're the reason we have the big book.
Yeah.
You're the reason we're actually here doing it.
I was like, so you
Stop,
actually
I'm gonna
started the
start crying.
Breadcrumb Effect.
I will cry. I love reading. Always read. My son, young boys don't always like to read. So whenever he is like, could we go to Barnes? Yes, I don't even finish my sentence. We're like, the car's starting. We're going. Because if there's something you think you want to read, I'm buying it and you're trying it. So he's really into those Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. So we go to Barnes & Noble. And they were swapping out their displays in the window. And I said, excuse me, what are you gonna do with those? And the guy was like, I mean, put them in the dumpster. And I was like, no, we need them. These would be great props for book club. They'll make great decor in my office. And so he said, okay, like, which one do you want? And I said, well, can I have all of them? And so loaded up my car with 6 of these. In the meantime, my son is like, what are you doing? My dad is so confused. And I'm like, don't ask, just hold the door. And we start loading the trunk and shoving it down. And I said, which one do you want? And as my next door neighbor kind of got first pick, first dibs, It Ends With Us made it into Danny's household. I kept Heart Bones because I'm sure that's, what everyone wants to know. And we took It Ends With Us around town and it was so much fun. And that's how I met Brittany. And while we were driving this giant book around town, we discovered all the things we have in common too, like a love for Bravo.
Yes. Housewives fanatics
amazing.
and reading fanatics. So
Yes.
instant besties.
So
Insta
many
besties.
parallels. So many parallels. Because I don't even think a second went by where you sent the text and all of these ideas started flashing through my brain instantly. And it was like an instant yes. And I have an idea. So
Yes.
obviously you're going to do it with me.
Yes.
And you came into my brain as well of just being a fun person that would do this. And I don't know, I'm saying, like, I barely knew Brittany when I asked her to do that with us. That was like a big risk to be.
Like, hey.
I think we've only met one time at a play date, but let's go do some fun shit with books.
Yeah, let's take these giant books to the library, to the coffee shop. We'll buy it avocado toast. Like, it's totally normal.
Crazy.
The fact that you had the balls to just ask, like, hey, what are y'all doing with that? Because you never know when someone's going to say yes. And
That's right.
That was a moment which, when you're thinking about it, you're not thinking of like what could happen next. You were just like, hey, what are y'all going to do with that?
Yeah.
You probably had no idea, like, why do I even need these big, huge books?
No.
But you doing that turned into us all getting together.
Yeah.
A podcast happening. Like, all because of you. You're our breadcrumb.
Yeah, that is so true. If you had not asked us about these, this probably would not have happened.
That is wild. It is crazy to think about, but I get it because it is true. Like, that gave you a reason. You went off. Like, you were like, yes, I want a book and we can do blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God, like, how? Like, you were just like waiting. It was as if like this book had to appear because you already had all these ideas of things. And it was so cool. And you didn't, but you just came up with it that quickly. And then it was so much fun. And we were like, all right, we'll do all the shots. Danny had her magic with the editing, but it was like, let's do it all quick and get back to routines and schedules. But it was so much fun. And it really came like, I feel like that, like books came home, ideas got generated, and you ran with it. And then you guys, that brought on more between you two on Bookstagram.
You're right. It's all connected. And it is such a breadcrumb, right? Because then that gave me practice editing, which is now a skill that I obviously use for this. If I had not spent the hours working on that, and you're right, it's all connected. So like you said, there's all these parallels, right? So like reading, and then the network. And then now that book is like infamous in the network. In fact, we bring that to the meetups a lot of the time.
Awesome.
And then people ask about it, like, where's the big book? Yep. It's kind of like a mascot now at this point.
Yeah.
What we need to do is manifest Colleen Hoover coming on the podcast.
Yes.
We're calling it now.
Yeah. So any listeners in Texas, like, can we make that happen?
Let's hear us out. I mean, we're wearing all her merch.
Yeah, but people are
like, why is she wearing a pink hat and a yellow sweater? See?
Yeah, so shortly after, okay, this is Breadcrumbs, but also a domino effect. So we did this with It Ends With Us. It's not the original book cover, because I think we have one of the original book covers here. But so we did that with that book. So we have It Ends With Us. This is the signed copy. This is an example of what the original covers looked like, which from the network, this is a signed copy, actually from when Colleen Hoover had a bookstore. So that was a gift from the network, which was really, really sweet.
That's awesome.
Her name's Christine, huge avid reader. So that was a really great thing that I appreciate. But so we did that. And then like a year later, the movie came out. Mm-hmm. And so the big book came with us to that, and that was also really fun. Yeah. And then in parallel, her merch came out. And so Brittany and I, for those that aren't watching, we are wearing the pink It Ends With Us sweats. And Aurora here has the Colleen Hoover It Ends With Us hat. This just sounds like a fan episode. Colleen Hoover.
Forget about Aurora's breadcrumbs. We're going into Colleen Hoover.
Yeah. Yes. I love this. Speaking of the movie you guys went, I couldn't come, but you did borrow my red carpet. And so
yes, we did.
That was a whole nother thread of hilarity, because we're like, normal neighbors, got sugar, got an egg. Do you have a red carpet? Yes. And I will be right there.
That's right. If that doesn't track with, that's right. That is so funny. And this is why your name comes up so often, because like you are the connecting point. Talking about the reading, I believe, and I would love to hear y'all's take on this. I think Colleen Hoover and her books are a good like gateway book for people to get back into reading. They're an easy, light read. They can be a palate cleanser. She does have interesting storylines, which is why I think they make such good movies. Mm-hmm. And then I think it was when we had Literally Books podcast on, I said that Colleen Hoover is the Danielle Steele of today's generation.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I am not a book snob. Like, what I think makes a good book is, are you not going to want to put it down? There are so many definitions of what's a great book, right? Like, did you learn something? Sure. Did you love a character? Did you experience another point of view? Did you think about something you never thought about before? All yes, and all can be from a totally different story. I love Colleen Hoover's books. I just finished her Too Late, which was republished with some, I think, enhancements after fan feedback and kind of going back to the original plot. But I loved it. I love them because you do get sucked in. You escape reality. You have a chance to like listen to another story, and we don't have to be snobby about it.
I always thought that I was like a big book reader, okay? My mind, because I'm around people who don't read a lot of books. And then started meeting people who read way more than me. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay, I don't read enough. Then I got on Goodreads because they're like, oh, you can track what books and you can read reviews. And I'm over here like, that was great, 5 stars. That was great, 5 stars. Like you said, like, am I entertained?
Yes.
Do I want to not put the book down? Right? Mm-hmm. Am I cool with the ending? Yeah, I love it. And then I would like get on Goodreads to like say I read it, and then I'd put a 5 star, and then I'd see all these reviews that are like bad or 3 stars and 4 stars, and I'm like, wow, why do people have a problem with this book? So I got off of Goodreads because I was like, I don't want anyone to fuck with my mind.
Yeah,
when I'm happy. I read a book, I'm good. I don't want your opinion about the book.
Yes.
I don't care.
Yes.
I don't want my opinion to be influenced by yours.
Yes.
And so it's funny because like a lot of people don't love Colleen Hoover for whatever reason. I like the books. I have fun. They do sometimes follow a formula, but I like the formula.
Most romance books do.
I'm like, hello, Hallmark movies. I'm obsessed.
Exactly.
Yes.
There's a reason
I
they
like
are all very
I like the
successful.
formula.
Yeah. And there's something, I am a full-time working mom. I know we all are. We balance so many priorities. We balance so many things. If I can take a formula and shut my brain off and just live in the story for a little bit, like that's a win.
Yes.
That's something I'm seeking to do. That's a hobby I enjoy. Again, we don't have to be snobby about it.
It's a book. It's
a book.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
A pastime.
Exactly.
What are some of your favorite reads lately?
I'm 12 books into the year. One of my favorites of this year was The Correspondent, and I listened to it. I typically don't love books that get super hyped, especially if I haven't read them first. You hear so much about and then you read it and you're like, But again, don't like to rain on anyone's parade. I actually, on Goodreads, I'm completely dovetailing, but on Goodreads, I won't put anything less than a 4. If I didn't like it, I will just mark as read for my own sanity of knowing I read it, being in book club and things like that. Like I do like to keep track because I read so much. I don't want to forget that I read something.
So I'm going to interject.
Yeah.
Authors really appreciate that.
Oh,
Like,
do
they
they?
appreciate all your 5 stars. Like,
Yeah.
that's great. But yeah, anything less than a 4, just don't.
It wasn't for
Like,
me.
it's
It doesn't make it a bad
it's
book. It
rude.
wasn't for me. People read nonfiction all the time. That's great. You're learning so much. To me, I don't know what would be a 5-star nonfiction. So what am I going to say about that? You know, like I just, if I love it, I want to proclaim it from the rooftop and you will get that 5 and I will post about it and tell people. If I didn't, it's okay. But I loved The Correspondent and it did live up to the hype. And I was full on crying at the end. It gave me all the feels, but it was written in such a beautiful, human way. The story was unexpected. It turned in different ways. And I love just that aspect of really those books that dive into that character development and who's who and how the pieces come together. And it was so, so beautifully done. So I loved that. We're currently reading from my book club, Wild Dark Shore, which I also loved, but in a completely different way. Loved it in that it kept my attention, beautifully written, interesting concepts to think about. Some things made me so mad, but in the way of like, you know, when you're like, who else read this book? Because I have to tell somebody about it. It was that. But I didn't walk away with like, I love this person and I wish I could meet them in real life. It was quite the opposite, but it was so engaging that it was really hard to put down. So those are my 2 standouts, I think, of late.
Okay, well, TBR, here we go.
Oh,
The never-ending
I
TBR.
know. Oh my God.
It's
It
the
doesn't
worst.
stop. The worst.
I'm just like, I want to read all of the books. And I'm a weirdo. I tried to do an audiobook the other day. Couldn't do it.
I'm so picky with audio. I have a formula of what works to me, but I get that.
Okay, you're going to have to
Do you have any that you like on audio
No,
or
no,
just
no.
the concept of it?
It's not that, it's just I like doing this
Yes.
with a real book. And audio, I think I like the way my voice sounds in my head. And now I don't like listening to
No
my
wonder
voice
you
on the
have a-
podcast.
No wonder you
But-
have a
But as you're talking, yeah, I mean, breadcrumb.
But I don't like listening to other people's voices reading to me unless it is if it's a self-help or like a autobiography. I like listening to those because it's in their voice.
Yes.
But otherwise,
Yeah.
can't get into it.
I love when an author writes their own book. That's like a recipe for me to listen to it. Also, there's just some narrators like Julia Whalen where if she's narrating it, I'm usually reading it and I'm usually liking it. And then there are some authors that work, I don't know if it's that they work I think they must work exclusively with her, but like anytime a Kristen Hanna comes out or a Taylor Jenkins Reid, those typically are read by Julia Whalen and she's so wonderful that I can just listen to it and love it, but it's got to be a really particular story. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid, Daisy Jones and the Six.
Oh, that was good audiobook.
Great audio. It was a great book. And then it was narrated with tons of different narrators, production, like music. It was so, it told the story so well. That's what I look for. I can't listen to just a dry, we're reading it, you know, like I, the other day got off of Hoopla for free, Wuthering Heights, but there's better productions out there and I had to set it down for now. Like, you know, it does matter.
Yeah.
How it's being read.
I need to look into that lady then.
Yeah,
wanna
look her
try
up.
that.
She's so great. And she wrote her own books, which are also spicy and hilarious. The latest one, Casanova LLC. Hysterical.
Okay.
Did you read it?
I did.
So
Yeah.
good.
Is that a good
Yeah.
one?
I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay.
I loved
Well,
it.
I mean, but first you have to read or listen to Thank You for Listening before
That's right. That's right.
you do
Which was also
Cast an
great.
Event.
Okay.
Yeah. Really good on audiobook.
Yes.
Here I go, Libby.
Some of those that are like that, like what you just mentioned, it becomes an immersive experience. Like it's a production, like you said
Yes.
for Daisy Jones. And Thank You for Listening is like that. It becomes like immersive.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if I could sit and read, that would be my preference 9 times out of 10. But driving, working, getting ready in the morning, like it's so nice to have like a good story you can plug into throughout the day.
And those are the books that I give 5-star ratings on are the ones that sit with me. I think about them. I think about
Yeah.
the characters.
Yes.
I want to know what's happening next. So that's, I know that you say I'm I'm hard to get 5 stars, but like that's.
She is hard to get 5 stars.
Yeah, I could see that.
What a snob.
Just willy-nilly giving those vibes.
We want Brittany to be the ARC reader. She'll give us a 5. Danny, we don't know what we're going to get with her, okay?
It's true. It's true. And I don't do ARC reading anymore, but I don't have time. My reading amount has gone down tremendously this year, but that's fine because we're doing things like this in my book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So were you a reader as a kid?
Oh, yeah. I was a reader as a kid. I would pretend to not have woken up yet and like sneak my book under the covers because, you know, we grew up in an Italian house. My dad would play the music early in the morning. And like when you were up, you're brushing your teeth, you're sitting down for breakfast. Like the day goes on. It wasn't like a mosey situation. I would pretend to still be asleep and like sneak my little book under the covers and read it. Always.
so cute.
As long as I can remember. I actually have a picture of myself that's my favorite picture because I'm like, this is me in a nutshell. I'm standing on the subway platform in New York City with a giant pretzel, you know, like a street pretzel, a bag from Barnes & Noble, the size of me because I was tiny. And I'm dressed like a little pirate of Penzance Extra because that's how my mom made me look. Like 80s, I guess. I don't know. Like the tights, the puffy pants, the whole thing, and a little like hat. And I love a good hat. I love an accessory. So that I think as far back as I can remember, have loved a book. Love it. Still do, obviously.
You mentioned New York and a subway. So did you grow up in New York?
I did. And I think that's my original breadcrumb because I don't know how you can live or be from a place like New York City and not be fueled by people and by vibes, by that energy. I've always been that way. And like, I remember being as a kid driving through the city and thinking how amazing, like seeing all the lights on buildings and like, that's a life, that's a family, thousands in a block of just different stories unfolding around you. And that's always been the way my brain has thought. And I've always thought about that social aspect, what's going on and how do you make connections? And that's what's been important to me. So that's the books that I have loved and that I continue to read are just about people. Nothing wild has to happen, but I want to like walk through your world.
Wow. So you had that thought as a kid?
Yeah. I mean, not a baby, but.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I feel that, you know, it had to be living in a place like New York City because, you know, if you grow up, let's say, small town, USA, whatever, you don't see all of that. You see people that you know or whatever. But I don't know. I just think that's really cool. Like as a kid, you thinking like, oh, that light up there, that's a life. That's a family. That's someone's story.
Yeah.
And now you're, I mean, and you're obviously into reading and stories because every person has a story.
They do.
You are and have built your own life and you have your own story because I think I've told you this before that I feel like you and your husband are your own Hallmark movie.
I need to hear more. I need to hear more.
Because I'll tell you my argument and then you can validate it because it's correct.
So it's not an argument. It's a fact. Okay, got it.
So I was going to ask the question, so how did you get from New York to Texas? But I'm just going to skip forward because this is why y'all are like a Hallmark movie, right? Aurora, look at how she's dressed. Always great, perfect. Like we're over here in sweats. You are wearing your cute boots and your cute sweater and you are very stylish, right?
Always.
Like always. Did you have a blowout for this?
Obviously.
Confirmed.
Oh my God. Wait, I have to tell the people because I'm voice noting her this morning. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get a haircut because that's when the lady could fit me in, right?
Yes.
And she's like, oh, cool. She's like, I bet you anything Aurora's getting a blowout for this. And
Obviously.
I was like, no. For this? No way.
She's
she's like, yeah, she is. And she's like, meanwhile, I'm going to have my 4-day-old hair as per usual. And I'm just like, well, my hair's only going to be fixed because she was available, you know? And then you just said
works
yes.
out that way.
Facts. We all know who we are as people, right?
We are.
We know ourselves.
We know ourselves. Yes.
So this paints a really good picture. We're amazing human from New York, and your husband, very similar to my husband, fishes. They will go shooting, drives a truck, right? Like this is y'all's relationship is like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah. I wish I could access my email from so long ago. We'll be married 19 years this year. We've been together 25. And when we met, I emailed my college roommate at the time and I was like, hey, I met this guy. He drives a pickup truck in real life. And like, that was like, they're like, no, like how? Like,
In real life.
real life. Like not a movie, no one I ever met before. I met him in New Orleans. I was going to school down there. I went to Tulane School of Public Health for graduate school. Met him there. We were both working at Razoo Bar and Patio, home of the Flaming Fountain, for anyone who's ever been to Bourbon Street. Famous. He worked the door and we started talking. We both did day shift. I was in grad school and I think a lot of us have done jobs along the way that meet us where we are at the time that we are. And like, that was a great job to have. I could work weird hours. I could work not a lot of shifts to cover expenses. And so I would do a lot of day shifts because, well, first of all, just because of who I am. Like I am a morning person. And so we would have like these down times to talk sometimes. And we just started chatting at the door and just kind of, a little bit each day. And that reminds me, like, just chatting with someone a little bit each day, like you build over time. And now I'm going to completely leave my husband in the dust and pivot this back to another breadcrumb with us, the corner. Fast forward to meeting other moms through school and picking my son up every day. And there are really strong friendships that we've made literally 5 minutes on the corner every day. Just in those 5 minutes, we've known each other's like biggest wins, biggest stressors, life things. Just goes to show your people can become your people and you don't need this big grand, timing or trips you take. Just in those uncomplicated minutes when you're connecting, when you're just truly authentic on who you are and how you connect with people, and it goes so far. So
that was my favorite part about quitting work is joining the corner moms.
And we literally call it the corner moms.
The corner moms.
Yeah. We say on all the corners of all the world, I'm glad God or the universe, whatever you believe in, like placed you here on this day. And we started talking because it's become like this little network.
You got to look out for one another. That's what I love about like mom friends or like being a mom. It's like, I lived in my neighborhood for 7 years and I didn't have Ella until maybe 3 years into it. First 3 years, didn't meet anyone. Mm-hmm. I would still go. We walked our dogs every day. We would maybe say hi. As soon as I had a kid, I'm friends with everyone. And I'm like, what?
Isn't it amazing?
It's so cool. It's like, and I don't know. It's like you can relate as a mom and you feel comfortable like talking about things. And it really becomes like I still have friends from when Ella was little that we don't see each other ever. But we still keep in touch and the friendship is still really close because it's like you're going through similar things. Maybe not the exact same timeline.
Sure.
But you're going through the same things. And I don't know. Something about being a mom is so, I don't know how to, I don't even have a word. Just dope. It's just dope. I don't know.
Yeah. No, and actually now that you say that, I have a memory of after I had Amelia and I, re-entered society and then people start talking to you. They want to talk about your baby. I remember being like, this is what people talk about. They talk about their kids. It was like I entered a whole world that I had no idea about because oftentimes us as parents, we are respectful for people that don't have children because you don't know why. Is it a choice? Is it because of infertility, right? Did they have a child and they've lost a child? We just don't know. So oftentimes we don't talk about our own children to other people that don't have kids. So I was shocked, right? And as a late in life mom, right? I'm in my mid 30s and had gone through like very much a lot of my adult life. It was like a whole door open where I was like, oh, this is what people talk about. And then it's like all we talk about.
Exactly. And you're like, okay, let me think of some other topics too. It's true. It's true.
Do you want to finish the Brandon story?
Yeah, so we were chatting just each day at the door and then decided to like officially hang out. And then just here we are all these years later. But no, we got married and we actually moved back up to New York together and got married. He's from New Orleans.
Okay.
But he moved around.
Shock
It was a culture shock, but he's moved around. Like he lived in Atlanta, he's lived in other places. So it's not like he went, from being in one place his whole life to New York. But we moved up to New York and it was such a fun place to be in our early 20s. Like we both worked and had so much fun. And then we started to think about what comes next and kids and all of that, doing the math on reality. Like we had this 600 square foot apartment and I'm over here like, oh, this closet's great. We could turn it into a nursery. And my husband, like not having grown up in New York, he's like, you realize like we could get a house if we didn't live here. Like there could be a whole room for the baby. And then I'm starting to like look at the math and being, well, on days when I get stuck on the phone at work and I miss the 5:07 train that's express home, I don't get the next train till 5:23. And that means I get home an hour later. And I start to like do these calculations on like, I love my career and I want to keep a career, but I also want to see my child more than an hour. Like I'm doing this math in my head on the fly, like looking realistically, if I'm home at 6:30 and I'm picking up a daycare and we're getting home and then a bedtime is X and then I'm out the door the next morning because I'm getting the 7:10 a.m. express train, like where does that leave us? And so that was my door to say, I'm ready to like open and think about where we would go next. And we really didn't know because at that point we had both lived in each other's home turf and I didn't necessarily want to go back to New Orleans. And he didn't want to stay in New York. And I realized it probably wasn't like right for what we wanted to do in our story together. So started to think about other places to get us out of New York, started thinking about let's both look for jobs. And if something were to pop up that would like, we have to take this, like that's a great indicator of let's try it. We didn't have our son at the time. So we were really open to, what could come. Yeah. And we've always been that way, like really adventure-y. So I met him young. I was 20. He's only a year older than me. So we were both babies. And I feel like we've really grown up together. There are things that I know about myself now. Like I am a first generation American eldest daughter. Full stop.
And that says a lot.
And that's the thing. Like now there are memes, there are channels, there are things you can talk about that. And I've always been this person, but I've never had that like label of it or way to think about it and say like, this is why I do the things I do. Like these are why it's hard to ask for help. Like little things like that where like I'm figuring it out now, but he's been with me that whole time and how I can or cannot express those things. We've gotten through it together. And there's something really cool about that. To have built, everything we've done together and like have built our life together. And so we were young. And so we're thinking, what do we do? Where do we go next? And who's going to get us there? And so we both started looking. And at that time, I mentioned that I went to Tulane School of Public Health. I earned a master's in health administration, which to back that up even more. So to finish on the Brandon thread, like we wound up living in Texas because we together decided where we're going to go. And it's random. Neither of us had any ties to Texas, but it was like the place we could forge is ours. There were things that felt like him, like the outdoors, the drivability to Louisiana. And then there were things to me like it's still a city. It's, there's stuff to do. It was growing at the time. And so it felt like the right place we could come. And I do want to say that we moved here in 2011 before it was a fad. So
early migrant.
We're a little more authentic. Yes. And we love it. And I can't see us living somewhere else at this point.
Y'all built an amazing life here as well. And y'all are fully integrated into like just the community.
My roots are my roots. I'm always going to be where I'm from and who I am. But we moved here because we saw something good in it. Mm-hmm. And we embraced that too. There are so many things to love about where we live and we do.
What I really love to hear you say is that y'all grew together. And that I feel that there's like a saying where people are like, oh, people never change. And I'm like, that's bullshit. If you're not changing, that's a problem. We should be changing. We should be growing. We should be evolving. We should be different than we were when we're 20.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see that y'all were able to weather, I'm not saying there was any storms, but like as you grow, you go through a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And y'all were able to build a life throughout these, 25 freaking years?
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool because, like, most people, like, let's say they meet someone at 20, by the time they're 30, they might not last because like people change and you don't change at the same time.
Correct.
Yeah. And you change trajectories. It could go this way.
Yes.
And then the advice that I'd never heard, which is advice that I now give young people, when you find like a mate or somebody that you can picture yourself with for a very long time, you need to be able to find somebody that can change with you. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to change in the same way.
Yes.
But you have to also know that you're going to change at some point. And you just have to be able to be open with that. And plus now there's science behind that. I know, right? Like science girly. Like we now have the neural plasticity that proves our brains can change.
Absolutely. And as you get older and other life things, like motherhood has significantly changed me. In some ways, like heightened things that were already there. Other things like, you just are new and thinking about. So you don't know what's going to come. And so having that ability to be like, we can talk through it is, everyone needs it.
Yeah. You're an eldest daughter, which I know we've talked about. We like that Taylor Swift song now.
Obsessed.
Obsessed daughter.
I cry every time at the same part. Every time, but I do. She gets it.
I need to hear the song then.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We'll play it. I mean, we can't hear because of
Yeah.
copyrights, but y'all can go listen. Following the rules here.
And I'm like,
Break the rules. Break the rules.
But she's like, karaoke.
We have an ad, and I'm like immediately like, what is the FFA regulation on ads? And what do we have to say? I'm like, going to come after us.
I'm like, look, you don't ask for permission. You ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
You play dumb. Okay? It's worked. It's worked. That's all I'm saying.
It's true. And then being an Italian too, right? Like I love sending you Italian memes. And then I feel like we kind of have a breadcrumb in that way where we have sort of this parallel history, right?
Yes.
Like my dad being Italian and having all of, that. And then I think that was one of our first times like hanging out not in the neighborhood was going to the wine tasting.
It was so fun.
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, did you say Bachicaloop? Like
Yes. It was awesome.
Which I learned, like, it was actually, our last name was Bachicaloop O. And then when he migrated to the U.S., changed it to Bachicaloop E, which is really funny.
Your dad is Italian?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that my great-grandparents who owned that land right there, they were from Italy, Sconsi.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That is an Italian name.
Either.
Yeah, you didn't. I know you can't tell I'm Italian because I'm pale as fuck, but
yeah,
I'm Italian.
Well, and apparently there's like a lot of blonde, not that I'm like blonde anymore, but like naturally.
But you're tan. You tan easily.
Yeah.
I do
It's
too.
the damn Irish in me. It's not fair.
and we're making it about me. I know you're on the podcast, but so
your show.
My dad's dad was adopted in, which is like a whole other story for another thing. But his mom's maiden name was Bachicaloopy, right? Never knew his father's history because he was adopted. It wasn't until genetic testing that it came in that they found out that his dad's real last name was Macchia. And so that's when we were like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Oh, that's
interesting.
So is there anything else that you wanted to touch on college before we come back to Texas?
I think college is like the start of my professional journey because I went to school undergrad for psychobiology, which again kind of ties to my love for reading in a weird way in that it was really the study of like how our brains and bodies interact and like thinking about reactions and why we do things the way that we do and a lot of just studies, and always loved getting to that like aha moment of the evidence and the why, right? The why behind something.
Like what story is our body trying to tell us?
Correct. Exactly. As part of that, I did a training program to become an EMT because why not take 20 credits, pledge a sorority, and become an EMT? What? Like it's hard?
These tracks.
okay, eldest daughter.
Pile on. Yeah, well, let me tell you why, because it was about this short-lived. So me and my college roommate signed up together. I, on trend, loved and excelled at the class. I would do all the practical stuff, get your trauma body on the board and wrap you up and do all the things and take blood pressure. It's a really cool thing to know how to do, to be able to help in an emergency and take a blood pressure and know what's going on. And I loved it. I got my ambulance assignment. The bell rang. I started having like, okay, what are we going to find?
we have to tell you about something we've been loving lately. It fits our whole breadcrumb philosophy perfectly. It's called the Feel Good Workbook, and it was created by Dr. Kell, who you might remember from our manifesting episode. You know how she talks about following the universe's breadcrumbs? This workbook is basically that, but on paper, with actual tools you can use in real life. The idea behind it is honestly so simple, but so powerful. It teaches you how to use your human guidance system, which is basically your built-in compass for life. Think of it like the game Hot and Cold. When something feels good, you're moving in the right direction. When something feels heavy or off, that's your signal that you're getting colder and maybe taking a step away from what you actually want. What we love about this workbook is that it shows you how to read those emotional signals in real time and then shift back to feeling good fast. Not ignore your feelings, not push through. Just gently course correct so you stay aligned with where you're meant to go. Because here's the thing, the key to health, healing, and honestly creating a life you love is feeling good. And when you feel good, you're aligned, you're magnetic, you're following the breadcrumbs. And when you don't, this workbook helps you figure out why and what to do next. And the best part is our listeners get 10% off the Feel Good Workbook. Just use the code breadcrumbs10 at checkout. Feel free to go to the link in our show notes, or you can go to Linktree/Dr. Kelly, that's Dr. Kelley. So if you're trying to live more intentionally, more aligned, and actually enjoy the path you're on, this is such a good place to start.
What are we going to find? Like, not loving that aspect of
Big unknown.
getting out there and like, what are we going to, and like, it was campus. It was mostly healthy, like we had an injury in the snow, like little small things.
This person drank too much.
Small thing. My roommate went on to become a CRNA. She's amazing. And the person I would want around in a true emergency. But I didn't love it. And I didn't see myself doing hands-on patient care. And then you're like, well, crap, I'm halfway through this science degree, making my life so hard when there's these other, pathways I could take. But here I am doing calculus and crying at 1 a.m. in the library. We're in it now. So eldest daughter, we're not finishing. Maybe could have came up with something new. So finish, like, what now? And that's what led me to the Masters of Health Administration track, because it was, what are the things that I'm good at? What are the things that I liked about that level of study? Healthcare has always been something that I've been super interested in. We all need it. We all don't have access to it. That's a really hard thing. And how can I still be part of that and make it better for, a patient, a family, in some contribution, but in a way that I can actually excel at and do well. And so that was probably my first breadcrumb of this is where my journey started, I would say, was there.
I would call it a breadcrumb because it gave you
Right?
such a foundation to build off of. And I think it just probably makes you that much more successful in what you do now, which is that what brought you to Texas?
Eventually, yeah. So I graduated, took an administrative fellowship back in New York, and got to work at two really amazing hospitals, Montefiore Medical Center and NYU Cancer Center. And I met amazing people, got to do really great stuff. And the advisory board company at the time was offering these workshops to hospitals on different leadership. They were calling them leadership academies. And so as a new leader at the organization, I got to participate, take the lessons learned, and bring them back to my departments, to my teams, to other leaders. And I loved that. And so I started looking into the advisory board company, and I was like, what is this? Like, this would be so cool to do this for others. Because quick study, some of the work I did initially out of school was a big learning curve. And then you have it under your belt. So 4 or 5 years into doing medical practice management, like, great, what's next? So I loved this idea of bringing some type of expertise to a group that might be either resource starved for it or some other thing that they would appreciate about us coming in and being able to support and provide growth or learning or data insights. And I applied to the advisory board, and in a breadcrumb moment, they were growing a space in Austin. And so I was offered a role, and I was given the choice of DC or Austin. And we went on Google Maps and looked up Austin. The only thing I knew about Austin was that that's where they had filmed The Real World a few years before that. The house was gorgeous. Zilker Park looked like a lot of fun. Here we are in our 600 square foot apartment, thinking and looking at the prices and being like, that can't be right. There's a zero left off of that, right? And so we're looking, we don't have a son yet. And I'm, offered this thing that's making me excited about a new role and a new job. Brandon was extremely supportive and like, let's go. Like, what could we lose? Like, we have a small amount of things to move. We don't like it, we move again. It's not a big thing. And so we came and loved it. We drove here to move here. Like, we didn't even come visit. It was just Google Maps.
What?
Looks good to me. Like, let's see.
That's the adventurous spirit in y'all.
Yeah, it is. And it's funny
Because
because
your gut and you
we
went with
did.
it.
Yeah. And it's funny because like my husband will tell you, like, I am a planner. I have my written one, my phone, my chalkboard one. Like, it's no shortage of like, what are we doing and when are we doing it? But there is that sense of like, when could we just do this fun thing? Or like, I don't know, sometimes big things, I'll go with the feeling, like this feels right or this doesn't. That felt right. So.
And you're here still.
And we're still here.
So
Yeah.
it worked.
It worked. And then that job was my breadcrumb to my most like fulfilling job-related extracurricular activity of being on the board of directors for the volunteer healthcare clinic. Because at the time, I was at the advisory board for a few years and I was working hard for promotion. And one of the criteria was really thinking about being involved in the community and giving back to organizations that need help. We had a whole arm of the company dedicated to that. We did a lot of work on what they called community impact. And so connecting us as experts and leaders in the space to organizations that wouldn't typically have the tools to hire us and say, hey, like, let's do this special project or let's, do this thing. And so I was able to get like a short list from the company on like, here are some great organizations you can join that can help you with what you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go next in your career, but also probably could really use your help. And so I was drawn to the volunteer healthcare clinic on this list of, a bunch of organizations, really because it was so simple. Like, that is the name and that is what we do. We are the oldest charitable clinic in Austin. In 1966, there were a group of ladies out of one of the Catholic churches, Ladies of Charity, they were called, and they were really, really out there helping, mostly at the time, homeless folks and people who really, really needed care. And they were partnering with like local physicians to get them seen and referred out to basically like independent providers who would just see a patient for a favor and, get them taken care of. Then at the same time, there was a priest in the area, Dr. McCabe, whose dad was retiring as a family practice physician. He really wanted something for him to do. And so this priest with the Ladies of Charity and the volunteer healthcare clinic was essentially formed. We are made up of volunteers. There were about 480 volunteers last year that deliver their time, their expertise, their money to seeing patients, delivering care. Really, we're the safety net of the safety net. So who needs us? Who has nowhere else to go? And can we help? And we're still doing it today, which is amazing because the spaces have changed. Like, we started off in, different buildings. We've been in our current building since the 90s, which we're really busting out of the seams on. So we'll see where we go next, hopefully soon. Like, the name explains it perfectly. People who say, I want to help and I want to give back, and here's a place that you can do it is awesome.
Wow. That's really cool that, like, okay, as a kid, you looked up at the New York City skyline, saw these lights going on and off and being like, wow, that person has a story, to now you helping individuals who can't get the help because of our broken systems, and you are allowing them to still live and still have a story that eventually they might be able to tell because of the work that you're doing.
Yeah. I never thought of it like that, but that's awesome.
And
Thank
as
you.
you were talking, that was kind of what came in my mind. I was like, 400 plus people helping. All I can think of is y'all are like saving lives. Like, literally saving lives.
Yes. And I love, it's such a gratifying experience because, we have board meetings a few times a year, and we typically, there's a patient story that's shared, and our volunteer director does an incredible job sharing volunteer stories too. And those, like, I'll cry right now. Like, those make me cry more. They will say, like, thank you for this opportunity. I have learned so much. I have found a place where I can give back. And a lot of times these will be UT students. They'll be medical students. They'll go on to, train and work other places and live in other communities. And they think about us, right? And I've even met providers who say, I love coming to VHC because it's everything that I went into medicine for. There's this person who needs help and I can help them and we can get them what they need with very limited red tape, right? And so we do have a broken system and we are a safety net for people that have nowhere to go. I wish our system was better and that we wouldn't be needed, but that's not the reality. And so to still be kicking in 2026 and here we're about to celebrate our 60th anniversary, which is amazing. One of the first things I did when I joined the board, just due to timing, we were throwing a 50th anniversary gala. And it was like crickets for them to see who would chair the gala. Enter into the chat.
Eldest daughter.
Like a party on campus. And so we got to plan this amazing celebration. I got to tap my advisory board colleagues to come, setting up chairs and setting up tables and silent auction stuff. And then just, generally supporting the work that we do in the clinic has been amazing. It's so gratifying for me too, because I get to contribute. I've gotten really personal feedback about it. Running a meeting, as an example. To me, that's nothing. Someone coming in and saving a life and knowing what to do when you come in and say my A1C level is blah, and knowing what to do and what to administer and how to get them back to healthy, like that's a skill. But it's really gratifying to know that the way I can come in and develop a strategic plan and give our committee goals and keep the doors open, like that's a huge responsibility. That's a place we're keeping going for the city of Austin. Like that's awesome. And so to have people say the role you play in this is a good one, even though I know it, I guess I know it inherently, but to hear someone kind of recognize that in you, it's just been a nice channel to have that too.
Yeah.
If you weren't doing what you're doing, what would all those people do?
Go to the ER, maybe. And sometimes people don't feel comfortable going to the ER, especially if they are concerned about things like ICE being there. That might not be a place somebody, feels comfortable going. So they'll wait until the very last minute where the outcomes are bad. And what I love about healthcare and being the reason I'm so passionate about this topic in particular is no matter what you care about, we're solving it. If you care that it costs taxpayers too much money to burden the ERs, if you care that when you show up with a true emergency, you can't be treated because we're fixing elbows and colds and flu, then you care about finding another way to treat people. You know what I mean? If you care about dignity and respect and humanity and the concept that everybody deserves those things, you also care about spaces like us existing, And so you can find the thread that matters most, but no matter which angle you look at it, like what we're doing is vital. Like a community can't exist if people aren't healthy. You can't contribute. So, no matter whatever lens you want to put on it, we're right there.
Yeah. This is such important work. The fact that over 400 of y'all are volunteering your time and energy to this, it's a testament to your character and the lives that are being impacted. And you mentioned like the volunteer stories sometimes like kind of get you emotional, but it's because I think inherently we all want to make a difference in some way.
Yes.
And what better way to do that than to literally help save people's lives?
Yeah.
And no matter what realm you do it. And like you said, like some people are the doctors and they're actually saving their lives that way. But if there's no structure for it, if there's not people to run the meetings or to organize things, then the system will fall, you know? So you need that there. And so everyone plays their important role, just like a community village, right? Like when they say it takes a village.
Absolutely.
It takes a village. And I am learning that as a mom, like, oh my gosh, you don't have like, that's why they said that back in the day.
It's true.
We need the village. We need humanity. We need to root for one another and help one another. So thank you.
How can our listeners help you? Where can they find this? What can they do?
volclinic.org is our website. We have lots of links there on things that are going on. Donations are always great, and just awareness of what we do. If you know a patient who could benefit, keep this in your brain to send them to us. We're really here to help. If you are a student looking for volunteer experience or just a person looking for an outlet to help, I think volunteers and funds are what we need to keep our doors open. So connections, direct. Austin does a great job as a city kind of promoting community spirit and giving back. There's Amplify Austin that happens every year. We do a huge fundraiser in the fall at the Austin Beer Garden, the ABGB, where we bring a few bands in and raise money through ticket sales and, wine and food. They have amazing pizza. As a New Yorker, take my word.
Oh, yeah. I'm like,
their food is good. We do a raffle. So all of those things kind of bring money into the clinic. We're primarily grant funded, but we're seeing the volume of personal donations really start to take a bigger portion of our budget. We don't accept any state or federal funding. So this is all truly grant-based and out of generosity of donors that keep us going. Yeah, check us out.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Can you think of a time where there was like a decision that felt small in the moment or maybe not exactly right? Like you thought, oh, did I make the right decision? But if you hadn't have made that decision, you wouldn't be where you are now.
Oh, yeah. So I tell the story for simplicity, but I actually did a very last minute thing in college where a few of my friends were going abroad and I didn't sign up to go abroad. And then I was like, oh, I really don't want to just like be here without them. And maybe I'll try something new. And so I was able to do a semester in New Orleans during my undergrad time. So the fall of my senior year. New Yorkers are notorious, like geography is not really our strong suit. So I'm not going to tell you where I thought New Orleans was, but it's not where I thought it was. And so
Wait, please tell me where you thought it was. I'm dying to know now.
like a little closer to Georgia, Atlanta.
That's not that far off.
But, flying down on JetBlue, they have the little maps. And I'm like, which is very similar to like the path we took back to Texas. But that was actually, I was like one of my college professors was like, don't do this. It's not as good of a school. And I'm thinking to myself, I came into college with 20 credits because eldest-daughter. So I really wasn't at a place where I was taking anything like super dramatic. I was able to take the things I needed to take where I was going and just experience something new. I went to undergrad upstate New York. I had planned to like work in the city. All of my friends were in that area. Like I never had this other place that I would live on my map or my horizon. And so I started to get like really itchy of like, I want to see what it's like, just so I could say, I know what it's like. And then I can check the box and not be someone who's never left, but be someone who has a reason why I live here still, right? Not just like, because I never left. Sorry.
Funny.
And so I just went, and there was a part of me that was like, I really didn't listen to anyone that was like, are you sure? And at that point, I'm like, you know what? I am. I don't know what I want to do after college. I do know that I don't want to do blah, blah, blah. But then I haven't figured out what that translates to. So let me just go see what life is like somewhere else. And that's when I met Brandon. That's why I was so young. I hadn't graduated yet. And then I quickly went back, graduated, and moved back to New Orleans. And then started the grad program. But that would have none of that. Not my husband, not my kid, certainly not living here.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done career-wise either. I mean, it all fell in. So, yeah.
So from trusting your gut
Yeah.
and not listening to what other people are saying,
Yeah.
you now have your wonderful husband, your beautiful son, and this amazing life.
Yeah. I
Wow.
guess so.
So don't listen to anyone, basically. Except for yourself. Takeaway, I'm getting.
No.
That's going to be the name of the episode. Don't listen to anybody.
Only yourself.
Only yourself.
We don't always think of like, oh, I did something that it's just a small
Yeah.
thing. But like
Yeah.
small things, small actions lead to big results. And
Yeah.
that was a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were in New York. It's like New Orleans, New York. I would personally think, oh, if you're from New Orleans, you move to New York. Not like you're from New York City. You're going to move
Yeah.
to New Orleans,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah. I was always so interested, like people that move from like Kansas. I'm like, where the hell even is that? And like, like, how are they here living in this life when like they live on a field? And I grew up like so obsessed with the Midwest. And so you can ask my good friend Marie. We took a baseball trip, Marie and Amy and our families and others, but we were the caravan crew. We drove up to Nebraska for baseball. I was like, all I want to do is eat a steak like in the Midwest. And just was like, Marie found us the perfect spot and we had this great dinner and it was so much fun. But it was like, I don't know, it's just because it's just so different. It's just the complete opposite, you know, to feel like that. That's what America was like to me. Like, I know New York's in America,
Right.
but like it didn't.
It's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to know what it's like to be from like just a place. Like,
Wow. Yeah.
Just a small town, have
Yeah.
steak in a field, you know.
yeah, when you're going to be like impressed to come here and be like, oh my God, there's so many people. And I'm like, yeah, there are.
You're like, yes, and
Sandwich that's in the Midwest, it's like pork and it's breaded. Do y'all know?
what?
No.
No.
Wait, are this a real question?
Yeah, no.
Wait, there's a sandwich?
That's like, it's like
Really?
specific for the Midwest. It's like pork and bread. I'm going to look it up because
Pork
Tell
and
us. Now I
bread.
want to know if I need it.
Like a pulled pork sandwich? No.
No, like a breaded pork. Maybe it's just a pork chop sandwich.
I have never heard of this.
Everybody in the Midwest is like, yeah.
We're like, yeah, pork chop.
Screaming.
And we're just like, let's transition to a segment. We decided on two. It's
Yes.
flour hour and then carb loading. We'll do a little bit of flour hour, so a hot take, and then we'll carb load straight into Bravo. We would love to hear your hot take.
I have something that I think is pretty popular and I just can't handle it. And that's a sound bath.
Not a
Brittany-
sound bath.
Which Brittany and I love.
You like them?
I'm obsessed with a sound bath.
Okay. So I had high hopes going into said sound bath. And let me just tell you, the person who did it was absolutely wonderful. Set the stage, told us what to expect, gave what most people might experience, and then said there are some that don't. Well, some. Right here.
Is this eldest daughter thing? No, I'm just kidding. Eldest daughter. Okay.
Okay, but
So-
I think this is because she told me that for the next 30 minutes, I had to lay there. Okay. And I'm like, and do what? And no.
You're like, this is not a productive use of my time.
We had just done yoga. I was so relaxed. We had stretched, but like that was enough. That was good.
It was good.
That would have been chef's kiss, done with the self-care, moving along.
Wait, so so you sat through the 30 minutes?
Yes.
And what was
Your eyes open.
Well, no, first the sounds, I'm like, I feel like I'm in church.
She's like poking.
I'm like,
Are you poking,
No.
Molly?
couldn't get comfortable. Yeah, couldn't get comfortable. So then I'm like, I'm laying really flat straight on my back. Is that a nerve? Or maybe might that be like a blood clot? I don't know. I just know I shouldn't be this uncomfortable. So I was peeking out of the blanket being like, is anybody else not able to lay flat like this on this hard floor? Like, who's got their knees up? Who's this? And then she's like, get comfortable. So I'm trying to nonchalantly roll to my stomach. But then the eye mask is falling off. And I'm like, I think I just am not cut out for this experience.
Slowly roll the blanket.
But it just felt like, we relaxed already. And yoga.
Okay. I will say I get that. So I guess I've never done a true lay there sound bath. I've always done what's called yin. I don't know. At my place,
That's right.
it's called yin yoga.
Okay.
So you do stretch it, long stretches, and they do the sound bowls and they maybe do some gong. And then at the very end, you lay there
Shavasana.
for
Okay.
like 5 minutes,
Okay.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah. That I could maybe do.
Yeah. And honestly, a sound bath isn't that much different than yin. And yet, what's really cool about yin is it's supposed to replicate the benefits of sleep or taking a nap without going all the way asleep. Now, some people do in a sound bath go fully asleep. Like
Yes.
you'll often hear like
There were light
snoring.
snores in the room.
You can hear it all.
Like yin, but like it's supposed to be immersive. So using
Yeah.
all these different sounds, and there is science behind it with like the vibration and the hertz and all of that, and
Sure,
working with
yeah.
your brain's waves. And even Huberman talks about this. And in fact, he like rebranded yin into something about like, I don't remember what he called it. It's like something like awake deep sleep or something. It's like actually people have been doing that for thousands of years. Okay.
No.
It's like, no, this is my idea. No,
Yeah, no, he actually came back out and he didn't like apologize, but he like publicly was like, I did not invent this. Cause he was like, I created this thing. And it's like, you didn't.
he rebranded it.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have even attempted if somebody would have told me lay here for
like an
45
hour.
minutes or an
Yeah.
hour. Could you imagine?
Actually,
I
I would.
can.
I would love. I mean, that sounds great right
yes.
now, actually. But I need the pillows.
Yeah.
I think you have
need,
to
like,
have the pillows and the
bowl.
blanket, and you got a bolster, and like you need
Yeah.
a setup.
Yeah.
You got to be comfy.
Yeah. Maybe.
So maybe that. I would say let's try it again.
But I was just itching to like do something else. You know,
Like, I'm bored.
like we already didn't talk for an hour, and now, like I could be making a mimosa. I could be reading a chapter.
You could be watching Bravo.
like in an audiobook.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been a good idea.
Wait, so next time you ever get invited to a sound bath, just bring an AirPod.
Yeah.
Which
Hit
the
your
next
watch.
one is at Lark and Owl.
Oh.
So fun if you go with me and you just reach up for a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, why not?
Because I will pass out. Like if we put TV on, I fall asleep. I don't have a problem like sleeping. But the act of somebody telling me, sit here and don't think and don't do anything.
Oh, so
It's
maybe if they
impossible.
told you don't sit here and think about a lot of things, maybe you just want people telling you what to do.
Just, maybe.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, and part of like what people get wrong about quotes, meditation is like that they think it's about not thinking. No,
Yeah.
it's about the act of noticing that you have a thought and then letting that thought go. And then like
Yeah.
training your brain to constantly
not-
let these thoughts pass by. It's almost like you're not letting them penetrate you.
Yeah.
It's almost like an external thing. And so, yeah, that's
Interesting. Yeah. I'll never say never.
We're going to get you to go to one. But I'm going to give you the permission to bring a fucking book and bring in your AirPod. And I'm going to just secretly tell you to do that. And then maybe you'll fall asleep.
so funny.
That would be, don't wake me up.
You're like, I do a sound bath every night with the sound of Bravo and my son and my 2 dogs.
Heaven.
This is my sound bath. Okay, so speaking of Bravo, should we move on to carb loading?
Hell yeah.
Another
Yes.
segment. This is our anything and everything topic. So, I mean, you're together. You have to talk about Real Housewives.
You start and I will tackle
Oh my
on
God.
whatever you
How
have
do
to
you
say.
even start? It's such a good topic. General.
Can I ask a question? Because
Yeah.
I sent her a video yesterday from TikTok, which was in Chili's, and it was this funny video of this guy falling over. And I sent it to her because she likes Chili's, so and I make fun of her for liking Chili's, but
I'm basic.
so I sent her the video because it's a Chili's. But then she's like, "That's funny because it has something with Real Housewives." How does that have to do with Real Housewives?
Okay, so in it, he sits on a thing and he says, "Welcome to Chili's" with the mention it all flags, and then he falls off. So
Hilarious.
Okay,
Like,
so
we gotta send you the video.
So basically, she knows because she watched Roni, but Bethany, one of the housewives from long time ago,
Oh,
Roni,
Bethany. Okay, I did watch that.
watched.
Fat when she was like skinny girl margarita.
Yes.
That was at the beginning. So one
You
time,
did.
I did.
her and Ramona were fighting, and Ramona was talking shit about her and saying that she basically slept her way to the top, and she's like, "Mention it all, mention it all." And that, honestly, that's probably one of my favorite freaking quotes.
I have a shirt. My friend bought me a shirt. She the same friend nailed it with that shirt and then an I Run Bravo marathons.
Oh, shirt.
And
Yes.
those are my 2 workout shirts.
See, those are the best.
They're the
I
best.
think you had on Iron Bravo marathons when we
did this.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
That's how obsessed with you we are that we remember what you wore.
We're
We're
obsessed with you, and we know where you live. So be scared. Just kidding.
Okay, so what was Real Housewives like during COVID? That I don't know about. Did it continue? or
It
did
did.
get
It wasn't
weird?
great.
Mm-mm.
The seasons weren't that great.
No.
Yeah, they weren't good.
Obviously, love New York. New Jersey's relatable to, where I grew up, where I'm from. And I just love the chaos and the stories, the people, just like what's going to be the crazy drama, who's going to say something. I love that it gives us these little like sound bites that we all like become jokes. And my book club from college, we're going to Salt Lake. We built an entire itinerary around Salt Lake housewives and
So
the TikTok moms. Mom talk.
Mormon wives.
Thank you. Like we're gonna go to Swig. We're gonna get blowouts at Angie's salon. We're
so mad she's pregnant.
we're
right
gonna
now.
get Botox or whatever we need to do at Heather's place. We're gonna do it all.
Lab. I'm going.
You're invited. You're invited.
I'm like, I don't know when it is. I don't know.
You
I'm
bring
going.
the
I don't know
baby.
anyone, but I'm going.
It's just so good. Like you can just pick up with people you don't normally. And did you watch last night?
Yeah.
And this chaos and this story. I mean, the reunions, the jokes write themselves.
Yes. The reunions are so good. If you had to pick, which is so hard, I can't even pick. If you had to pick 3 quotes that are like your iconic quotes to say, what would they be?
I mean, definitely mention it all. You can't go anywhere without mention it all.
Yeah.
I love on some Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
They're on some type of vacation. And Melissa Gorga gets up and goes, "You got the wrong girl," with her long pony.
Okay, I feel like you also fell into your accent even more.
I did.
since then.
You got the wrong girl, because there will be times where you've got the wrong girl.
Jersey needs to come back.
They have to come back. What's going on?
I don't know, but I don't like it. And
I know.
I miss them. I'm glad Teresa and Melissa have made up.
Yeah.
I am curious if it's real. I hope it's real.
I hope it's real.
But I need them both on my. Actually, I mean, I like Melissa better.
Oh, hands down.
Okay, thank you. I was
Yeah.
supposed to say, oh my God, we're gonna fight.
Oh, wait. Team Melissa.
Thank you. You know, I had a group with 2 girls that we weren't like really friends in high school, but we knew of each other. But we connected over Bravo. We literally would talk every freaking day because Bravo happens all the time. And our group name was Team Melissa.
I love that. I don't know anyone in my soup that I know well that's not Team Melissa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I kind of question you if you're not. Now, is Teresa iconic? 100%.
100%.
I mean,
She's the one that flipped the
she-
table.
yes.
Like
And
she
you don't
is
even-
iconic.
and you know.
Yeah, you know, but I will say when I went to BravoCon, I didn't want to take a picture with her and Louis, and I didn't. But they did seem very nice.
I'm
Like,
sure they are.
you know,
And I'm sure
They're
she
getting
plays
paid for
up.
that.
oh, I'm sure she plays that. Yeah, she
I'm
does
sure,
good.
yes.
But some people don't. Like Shannon Bedore, rude. Even Tamra, who I love, not very nice. Even though that's my is my favorite quote of all, and I will say it all the time.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. I mean, I love Salt Lake so much. I would feel like a quote would have to come from them. I do have, okay, so I have a little hot dog named Dolly, after Queen Dolly. But we both have matching shirts that have the Lisa Go the Distance quote. So I don't find myself like saying that.
Right.
But that is an iconic.
Oh, that's iconic. Salt Lake City, even though it's new, quote unquote newer, it just delivers every freaking time. And
Every
Mary,
time.
Okay, I know I hated Mary at the beginning. I did. I'm not going to lie. I was like, why is she on? I do not like her. She is horrible. I'm obsessed with her.
Obsessed. And she was so great this season.
She was.
She was the voice of reason in a lot of ways, but in a really honest, straightforward way.
Yeah.
That like you all need a friend like that. Like
Yeah.
everyone should have someone who's going to tell you when you were wrong.
Yeah, her looking through the...
Brittany tells me that every day. I'm kidding.
I am Mary Cosby. Just kidding. I do have to say, and I don't know if you know this, where her son just passed away.
I know, it's awful.
You know, I can't... horrified.
How
But-
old is he?
23.
Oh, God.
It's so sad. He was
It's
going through
extremely
stuff,
sad.
and she's been really struggling and like showing us all of these things. And
And being so brave and transparent about it throughout the whole thing.
yeah, so that part is, I don't know. No one should go through that, period.
No, absolutely not.
And my heart is really, I'm not gonna lie, I cried when I was reading, because it's like,
Well,
you know, you don't know the people, but like,
yeah.
You
anytime you
picture
hear
yourself
that.
as a mom. Like,
Yeah.
you picture yourself in that position and just like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's devastating. And you think about people who their story may have helped, like opening a door to a conversation in a way that maybe people wouldn't have the tools to if they didn't share that part of their lives.
Yeah.
And so you root for them, right? You want a happy
Mhm.
ending for them. And that's really sad.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why this podcast is so important to us, is that we are openly sharing so many stories and bringing so many people in that have had different types of struggles and all these different stories and backgrounds. We just hope that by people hearing that if nothing else, that they don't feel alone. Maybe they'll take a different perspective, or we just hope it helps somebody some
Mhm.
way.
Absolutely. And I'm sure it does.
So with that, should we do the
Close
ending?
out. Wait, do you want to do find your breadcrumbs or follow your breadcrumbs?
What do you think it should be?
Oh, I don't know.
You got to
It's
pick
the
one.
debate.
And I'm not even going to give my reasons anymore.
I say find because to me, follow your breadcrumbs. A lot of times your breadcrumbs become breadcrumbs with hindsight. You don't know in the moment that it's a breadcrumb. necessarily. You might.
So true.
But like, I didn't think getting on that plane was a breadcrumb. I thought it might have been some crazy ass thing I was doing. You know, that might actually derail me or not, like be no biggie, but like, you don't know.
That's right. Yeah. It's almost like active tense versus past.
Yeah.
Look, me, I'm like,
I
ha
know.
ha ha.
She's winning.
Or does this follow? You're a find?
Yeah. I'm such a bitch because I'm always like, when people say find, I'm like,
I keep talking about getting a whiteboard up here.
That'd be funny.
tally. We do the jars. We're going to do the jars. We're really bad at like remembering shit.
You know, it took us like so many episodes to get to even carrying tissue because somebody cries on every episode.
Oh,
But you didn't.
I
You
know. I held
almost
it.
did.
I almost did.
Yeah.
But I held it
actually almost
together.
cried too. And I was like, she's not crying. I better not shed a tear.
It was the same. And I was thinking, like,
'Cause
she's
you
holding it.
know all-
I don't know what to do, but I saw your eyes.
I'll zoom in. She knows I'll zoom in.
I know. She always gets me. I'm like, oh my God, stop it.
I'll zoom.
Make me zoom.
Okay. Well, Aurora, thank you so much for joining us today. I really do need you back on again because we could shoot the shit for days.
We really could.
I'm obsessed.
Me too. Thank you guys for having me. This was so fun.
Well, everyone, remember to go out into your week and find your breadcrumbs. No, you got to say that. What? The way you're looking when we did that, I'm like low-key obsessed with it. You're like, yeah. You're like, yeah. Oh my God. You know, we always have to do at least 2 takes. I'm just
At
letting you know.
least.
So do not feel alone
Okay,
in
thank
this.
you.
Thank
you.
Great.
All right, everyone. So go out into your week and
Find
your breadcrumbs.
Well then,
Yay.
we may cuss, we may offend.
Maybe don't listen to this with your kids in the car. We're here to learn and laugh, not to offend.
We are not experts, so take what resonates and professional advice where needed. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
If you've loved today's conversation, subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Continue picking up the breadcrumbs by leaving us a review and sharing.
Follow us on socials. We are at Instagram at The Breadcrumb Effect, TikTok at The Breadcrumb Effect Pod, and YouTube at The Breadcrumb Effect.
Let us know your favorite episode or what you'd like to see.
Want to be a guest or know someone with a story? Fill out our guest interest form linked in our bios.
Finally, let us know if you found the hidden loaf. Until next time, keep picking up those breadcrumbs.
They're leading you exactly where you're meant to be. Oh my gosh. I want you to re-say a sentence because you use the word Barnes & Noble and I don't want us to include
Just blank
Barnes
it.
& Noble.
Just blank it out.
Yeah, but it might make the sentence sound funny. It's
kinda funny.
Okay. Beep.
Why don't you want to say Barnes & Noble? Why don't you want to say Barnes & Noble?
Well, because they're not supposed to give those things away. They are supposed to go in the trash, and I don't know.
Who's
you
gonna
didn't say like what?
You didn't say
store,
what
right?
store it. What are they going to do? Go look at every camera from 3 years back and see? I think it's fine. I think it's fine.
It was Barnes & Noble, people. Yeah, I don't ever tell Brittany when we're recording. I just go with
Just a
it.
surprise.
Yeah, it's a surprise.
See what pops out of my
We're
mouth,
on.
or what pops out of the book.
Am I here? Oh.
Yes.
Oh, I could see us.
Yeah.
Go team.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I love this. Yeah. Okay, just like that.
Should I pop out like this? No, this won't give me enough to go like this.
Yeah, there we go.
But I have to look there.
We'll do that.
Polo, can you get out of the shot, buddy? Every time. Every
It's
time.
all right.
Okay, Paulo, you got to get out, buddy. You're going to get hair everywhere. Okay, I've got it.
The last episode, you snuck in and started licking my feet. And we're really big on like not doing feet shots, like no free feet shots here.
Yep, but we do have the paid one, so I'm just kidding.
We created
Not on today's episode, but you know.
We recently created the LinkedIn, so maybe that needs to be the next one. I mean, we gotta start making money somehow. The husbands are gonna start asking questions.
You're gonna edit, right? Yeah. Right.
Nope, no I'm kidding. What you said? Oh, go ahead.
Okay. She always doesn't. Okay, well. Let's go to Texas. She's in Texas now. The next question, you know?
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, go.
yeah. Go ask.
No, I don't have the questions.
Mine just says Texas.
Oh, I don't know. Sir, questions do just say like what? I'm like,
Look,
I'm like, what? What do
it's
you want?
bullet points.
Oh,
I'm like, what do you want to say with that? I don't get it.
Reader as a kid, that's a good one. college.
I could talk
I
about
just have
college.
college.
I'm like, oh, okay, sure. What question are we asking there?
Because that's our brains do things so differently, which is it works for
Yeah, for sure.
together.
If our brains were the same, we would probably not get along.
Absolutely not.
That would be
Because
bad.
then you're both like gunning for the same thing, but you might see it a tiny bit differently, and then it's harder to align versus
Yeah.
coming at it from totally different ways.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It works.
It works.
It works
Exactly.
so well.
Yeah.